Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to do another small engine Saturday video. We're going to work on this generator that's here behind me. And now this is generator season for those of you that are watching. We're here in Florida, and that means we get hurricanes this time of year. And it's a scary, scary thing. So we're going to see if we can get this generator working. Now this was something that was given to me that Rob found in storage behind some place he was working at. And they told him to throw it away. So he knows that I like small engines. So let's see if we can get this thing running. It would be nice since it is a generator. And hey, it's a Honda. I have a carburetor from the HIPA Store for a GX160 engine, and we're gonna see if it fits on this just because I'm curious. And well, that means I also won't have to clean it if that's the case. So anyways, before we move on with the video, let's take a moment to talk about the HIPA Store.
The HIPA Store is a company that sells parts for lawnmowers, chainsaws, generators, and other power equipment, and even has some parts for go-karts. The $1 spark plug sale was so popular that HIPA decided to run it again for the month of July. That's right, all spark plugs are only $1 each. So it's time to stock up. They even have some spark plugs for motorcycles. In addition to that, there are dozens of other items that are on sale, from fuel filters to chainsaw chains to carburetors and more. So please, check out the HIPA Store. Please follow the affiliate link down below in the video description, because when you support the HIPA Store, you also support my video creation on this YouTube channel. Special thanks again to the HIPA Store for sponsoring this video.
All right, a little noisy out here today. I've got a new microphone I'm experimenting with, so we'll see how that works out. But right now I've got a fan on behind me. I got the air conditioner on over there. The washer and dryer are currently running. And Biddy is screaming his ass off like usual. Hey, there's a plane flying over too. So let's see how this microphone does as far as that's concerned. If it works out good, we might use this thing more often. Anyways, this engine here, the gas in it, smells bad, but there's nothing in the tank. I've already turned it upside down, and all I got was a couple drops out of it. So like I said, it's a little stinky, which tells me if there's any gas inside the carburetor that it's probably yucky. Let's go ahead and throw some fuel in it, and well, we'll do the usual. See if we can get it started. Maybe it'll pull. One pull, we might get lucky. We'll see. Otherwise, it looks like it's all here. It does have compression. Doesn't feel like very good compression, but it does have compression. And you know what? We need to check the oil too. Before we do anything, almost forgot. You don't want to forget something like oil. Oh yeah, it's got oil. It's got plenty of oil. The oil actually looked clean, like somebody had just changed it. That's good news. Let's put some gas in here. This is the last of my go-kart gas. Go-kart's dead this week. Well, speed contest is dead this week. Go-kart's not dead. Speed contest is dead this week only because the Z is not currently operational, and that's what pulls my trailer. So if I can't take the trailer anywhere, then that means no speed contest. Anyway, it needs tires. We'll talk about that later in the video. Alright, looks like that's the run position, and this is the choke. What's this wire here? There's a wire connected to nothing. That's interesting. Alright, that wire, wherever the hell it just went, looks like it goes, there it is, goes to the kill switch down here. There's a connection that's right here. The only thing that's in the area. Now, I don't know if that's off because it got knocked off or if somebody took it off. Maybe there's a problem with the way the kill switch operates and somebody pulled the wire on it because that was the only way they can make it work. You know, before we go in there, let's look under this air cleaner also. See what we got in here. Yeah, a little water in there. I already pulled the engine, it turned over, so it's not going to be hydrolocked. Roach eggs in there, gross. Yeah, that's all roach stuff. Definitely been sitting for a while in storage. Well, it's not going in my house. As you know, generators don't go in the house anyway. You idiots that kill your whole families run the generator in your house when the storm comes because it's safer than going outside? I don't think so. Anyway, let's see what happens. There you go. Did I luck out or what? I wonder if it even works. I mean, it runs, but I wonder if the dynamo works. Shit! One pull? No, that can't be. Oops. Alright. Try putting the choke back on again here. That was a surprise. I wonder if that was a fluke or if that's actually the way it's going to be. Try turning the choke on halfway here. Maybe I've got it flooded now. Well, that was impressive. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to dribble a little fuel down the carburetor and see if that makes any difference here. There you go. Just a splash. That's all you want. Just a tip. Just a tip, guys. Alright, with the air cleaner off, let's see what happens. Turn the choke off. I don't believe it. Started on the first pull, but not again. Does that make sense to anybody? That tells me it's flooded. I mean, I don't know for sure, but that tells me it's flooded. Let's disconnect that run switch on there. Maybe that had something to do with why it was. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sense out of it. If the run switch was disconnected before, maybe it had to be. Because maybe it's a faulty switch. Put the spark plug wire on loosely so I can easily pull it back off in the event it runs on. Alright. Choke back off. Here we go. This is unusually easy to pull. I mean, I feel compression, but it doesn't feel like it has a lot. And it's not firing. Alright, let's do a spark test. And let's have a look at the spark plug. I love using an impact on this. That came out unusually easy. Yeah, spark plug don't look too bad. I mean, kind of give you some good light on it. I don't know which way is better for the camera, but it is wet though. So, it was definitely flooded out. May have been even fouled. Let's try this spark plug real fast. You know what? I don't think this is the right plug. Oh man! You know what? That is the right plug. Okay. We're just gonna run that right in there. It's a hotter plug, but it's the same plug. And that one I know is good. Alright. Let's see if it runs again. Alright, here we go. One switch is on. Choke off. Well, definitely the plug was fouled, no doubt about that. Definitely is getting a spark at this point. Now it looks like we're running dry on fuel. Let me try putting the choke on again. Try starting it up again. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna get a little dribble. One more time. A little dribble. There we go. I don't know what it uses for a fuel pump in here. It's got to get the gas from under the carburetor and into the carburetor, so there's got to be, there it is. There's a pump on the back side here. Alright, here we go. Probably just fouled the plug again. Alright. Yeah, it's wet. While we're down here, let's hook this run switch back up. See if we get a spark with the switch connected. Alright. spark at all. The run switch is disconnected again. I still don't see a spark. Alright, I have no idea why it's not making a spark, so we're going to pull off the starter cover here. I'm going to look for anything obvious like pinched wire or, I don't know, a hole in the coil, that kind of stuff. This comes off safely. Yeah, here it is. Yep, that was definitely our run wire. There's our other run wire, which probably goes to an oil pressure sensor. I should probably disconnect that also and see if that makes any difference. It appears that's right down there. Okay. Let's see if that gets it. I didn't even know it had one of those on here. But if I hadn't taken that cover off, I never would have seen it. And you know what? The whole engine is tipped backwards just a little bit. And the oil pressure sensor is right here. So there's a possibility, yeah, I wasn't getting enough oil right there, and that was just enough to cut the spark. Let's see if that gets it. I can't do that. I'm gonna have to put it. Or is it enough? No, it is enough. I can see it spark. Okay, let's put this cover back on. That was incredible. That actually was enough to make it spark. Oil pressure sensor was our problem. How about that? Who would have guessed? And I've already lost one of the spacers that goes on here. All right. Couldn't have gone far. It'll be back in just a minute. That's right, it didn't go far. It was right under my nose. Okay. It's back in the cover. And the air cover goes back on. I keep calling it a cover. I'm sure somebody's already corrected me down below in the comments. That's a shroud, Duckman. That's not a cover. But yeah, it's a cover. It's also a shroud. Just happens to be both. Surprised it's not metal like the other ones are. But nowadays, with everything getting cheaper and cheaper, just the way it goes. Alright. Run these bolts back in here. Alright, let's check for spark again. Here we go. Spark. Come on, spark. There it is. It's sparking. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's not exceptionally bright in daylight, but it is sparking. Alright, we're going to put that original spark plug back in. This time I'm not going to juice it. I'm not going to choke it either. Let's see what happens. Okay, here goes. I think we got it. I think we got it. I guess the real test is to see if the dynamo works. Here we go. learn today? We learned today we have a nice Honda GC160 5 horsepower engine that we could put in a go-kart or something else. I don't know what's going on with the dynamo. I don't repair these kinds of things. But if this dynamo is going to be acting up, then, well, the dynamo is just going to get unbolted. It looks like it's just 4 bolts and it's probably going to slide right off the shaft over here. So there's not too much to it. I will pull the panel off and just look inside. Seeing as how the cover is already loose on it, I can almost guarantee that somebody was in here messing with something, because there was a problem at some point, and that's probably why they put this thing away in storage. So I'll open this up and just look for loose connections, circuit breakers that are popped, you know, some other kind of nonsense like that. But if it's a bad dynamo, out it goes. This is the only screw that's holding this cover on. So somebody was probably diddling around inside of here. Well, look at that. We got a wire that's off. And it happens to be the black wire, which is the hot wire. Green is also off, which is our ground. That probably should be grounded to the body. But this black wire is supposed to go into the circuit breaker that's right here. Let's see. Reconnected. That was it. That green wire being off kind of bothers me, because, you know, you don't want to get shocked on these damn things. And I wonder where it was supposed to attach to. I don't know. That might have been all that was wrong with that dynamo. The dynamo's warm, so I would say it was doing something. I hate to assume anything. Oh, there it is. The ground is right there. So it's broken off. It needs a new connector put on it. Well, we'll handle that real quick. Alright, we got a new ground wire connector on here. I'm going to take the old one off. It's screwed to the body. They couldn't have made that harder to get to. They should have put it closer to the edge, but no, they put it in the middle. It's hard to get around all the contours and bumps and shapes of the this is one of those things I'd take apart often. If it was, I would drill a hole and tap it somewhere else. And you might be saying, oh, ground wire is not important to make it work. Well, you know, it's 120 volts AC, or 110. Some people like to argue that. And it tickles a little bit. It's not something that I don't want to have properly grounded when it does look like it could have a GFI or something in here. Well, no, it doesn't look like a GFI. But anyway, we got our black wire in here, the one that was disconnected before. We got our ground hooked up again. Let's put our cover back on. I even found a screw to replace the missing one. All right, let's go ahead and try this again. All right, here it goes. Oh, Duckman. Don't be such a doofus. Engine's hot. I didn't want to put my hand here. Not the brightest way to pull it. Probably should pull out that way. I can turn it. Alright, here we go. Like it's a big no, we got no juice coming from the dynamo. Oh well, that's fine, because I want another go-kart engine anyway. So I guess that about wraps up this video for today. How about that? I didn't expect it to run that easily. I mean, we had little problems, but I expected to have to remove the carburetor and clean the gunk out of it, but no, we're actually pretty good. Hey, the oil even looked brand new. When do you get that lucky? Alright, I might investigate into why this dynamo doesn't work a little more in the future, but there's a lot of copper in there, and if worse comes to worse, I can always scrap it, get a couple bucks for it. And I think it's only these 4 bolts that need to come off of it to be able to remove the thing. My current workbench, by the way, is another generator, which we're gonna do this one in another video. There we go. Now, I'm assuming that the dynamo is gonna pull off. I expect these bolts to be really, really long. Yep, there they are. One. Looks like it might be getting ready to rain out here. Once again, wasn't in the forecast. Man, we just had about, I don't know, 2 weeks of rain, solid straight through. And then we got 2 really, really nice days after that. I shouldn't really say nice. By comparison to all the nasty rain that we had, it clouded up and it started to boom a little bit, but it didn't actually rain. So that was my definition of really nice. Still hot and humid though, but that should release the coils from the drive shaft on the engine, or output shaft, or whatever the hell you want to call it. This thing should start coming loose. The whole outer casing and outer coils should slide off of this thing now. I don't know what's going on here. The whole thing turns, but it's... Oh, wait. It's separating into pieces here. Oh, shit. Alright, it's off. Didn't expect it to do that. Hell, I didn't expect it to come off that shaft. This is a tapered shaft. This is not what I expected it to be. Yeah, it's not your typical straight shaft like on a Briggs. Alright, well anyway, here's our dynamo. Boy, that sucker's heavy. There's a lot of copper and a lot of iron in there, that's for sure. Yeah. Alright, well. Let's take off the backing plate. Oops, the bolt's flying everywhere here. Here it is. That'll be our bolting surface for our, well, clutch or whatever it is we decide to mount on this here. I like how this has a little rack that the thing is set up on. So this whole engine can be put into storage just like it sits. And it's easy to pick up and move around. I'll give it a good cleaning first. Just want to make sure these bolts don't get lost, because these are going to come in handy. And I think I can get a shaft adapter for this tapered shaft that's here. And that way I can bring it up to, let's say, a 3/4 or an inch. Actually, it might be a 3/4 now, to like a 1-inch shaft. It just simply slides over it. It gives me a keyway. Well, anyway, good. Here it is. This thing don't weigh a whole lot without that dynamo on it. I mean, it's pretty light. Pretty damn light. Alright, well, because it is going to go in storage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump the gas back out of it and I'm going to run it dry. But otherwise, there it is. So, let's go ahead and start wrapping up this video here. First, let's get the fuel out of there. The dynamo's been reassembled just in time for it to start raining. It's raining right now. Probably not for long. I mean, the sun is shining and the cloud over us is not very big, but it's gonna come and go. I'm gonna put that into storage meanwhile. I talked to Rob briefly about the engine and generator and stuff, and he wants the dynamo. He doesn't care if it works or not, he just wants it. And since this is where it came from, he can have it. So the both of us get something out of it. He gets a dead dynamo, which he wants to disassemble. I don't know, maybe he has a plan to make it work or something. Entirely on him. He also likes to scrap metal, so that's totally his cup of tea right there. I'm going to shut this fan off. That's actually been what's trying to keep me cool today, because wow, it's just so hot out here. Figure I'd give you a little update as to what's going on with the Volkswagen stuff. this 72 Beetle right here. Yes, it's the 72. I have people backtracking me on that. It doesn't look like a 72. There's a this and a that, and everything's wrong. That's because it's a custom. Anyway, absolute wiring disaster. Been going through the wires on it this week, and you'll see videos coming up on this one. Has actually got a lot of issues with, and it's funny, it's very minor issues. It's just like stuff is in the wrong places. So it's a matter of getting things sorted out. But the generator light wasn't working and the oil light was working. It turned out the oil light was the generator light, and the generator light didn't work at all. So it was just flippity-floppity problems. There was a problem with the oil light wire. There was a problem with the oil light sender. There's a problem with the regulator that sends the wire or the voltage to the generator to turn it on. It's got issues. And by the way, it doesn't start. It does now, but it doesn't start. It had a remote start switch, and it turned out that had a problem with it too. So there's a lot of things that we're going through on that. This bus, we just got the final pieces to it today. Yeah, come on, open. The last piece is the exhaust, and there was another box full of other gee-dunks. Where the hell did I put it? Did I put it back in here? Maybe I did. I don't remember anymore. Well, I hope I didn't lose it. Maybe I put it in the house. But anyway, those are the dual ICT carburetors, or ITC, ICT, the Webers. It's a dual, baby Webers that are going on there. And I got everything disassembled inside of here. And that was a fight, because all the engine studs that holds the manifolds to the heads, see, the manifolds are ready to go in, they were all rusted. Every single nut and bolt that was down there rusted. So when I went to take them out, all of the studs came out of the heads. And the studs don't want to go back in. I'm having a lot of issues with that. So I'm going to have to get in there and clean up the studs and get them all wound back in there, maybe chase the threads in the heads, and then put everything back together. It's got, it should have been a few minutes, because all it is 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Just take your nuts off, you put a new gasket, put a new manifold, 4 nuts back on. It's that easy. I mean, it should have only taken a few minutes. Instead, it's taken hours. Hours, because the nuts are fused to the studs, and the studs pull, it's a mess. But anyway, that's the reason why I haven't made a video on this yet. I actually like to get this thing done today. So this bus has been, rather than getting its own video, it gets little update videos added to all the other things that I do this week. So anyway, that's the progress we're making on this thing. It's coming along quickly, and it might even be out of here this week. In fact, by the time you're watching this video, maybe it's already gone. Who knows? Oh, that was the fuel pressure regulator that was on there. Look how beat up that is. Because it had a 30 psi fuel injection fuel pump on here, and somebody put on that stupid Weber progressive, and they tried to use that to regulate the fuel, and it did. I mean, it worked. It did regulate the fuel, but the problem is these things always leak, and it's just one more point of failure. Just put on the proper fuel pump, which I did. Here it is. You see it right there. So I got the proper one. Links down below in the video description. If you have to have one yourself, I do recommend them highly. It's something that I use on all of my Volkswagens instead of a mechanical pump. And you might say, why? Well, a lot less clutter in the engine compartment. One less thing to fail in the engine compartment. It's a lot easier to get to when I put it underneath the car. This guy, oh man, we got that door replaced. I think I might have mentioned that earlier in the week. But those bolts on there were a son of a bitch. But the owner to it came by and delivered me a battery. Because one of the next things we're going to do is we're going to try going through the engine on here and get this thing running. And then all this metal that's inside the engine compartment area here is all going to get cut out and replaced. And rather than weld it all in, we're actually going to go with epoxy, if you will, panel bond. So we're going to drop all the panels in place and then put some weight on top of it, like some sandbags or something, and then let it harden overnight. It should be ready by the next day, and that's going to save me hundreds of grinding welds, because they just would take spot welds all over the damn place, and I'm not going to have to deal with that. It's just drop the panels in and make them fit, and then glue them down. And it's done. That's it. It's done. No more grinding, no more polishing, and any of that crap. Anyway, this thing's going off the paint after that's all squared away and finished. And just at the same time, see that washing machine that's there? The owner of that car, I told him, just get a washing machine or something. You should have plenty of metal on it to fix it what we need. And sure enough, that was across the street. So it was a washing machine sitting there, which is now in my front yard, which makes my front yard look like total white trash. But, that's living in the city. So I got to deal with that. It's not a big deal. Anyway, I'll start cutting up the washing machine this week, start patching up that thing. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, the Z is still down because I lost the wheel lock to this thing. I don't know what the hell happened to it. I saw it in the house like a couple years ago. It was actually on the kitchen counter. and I've not been able to find it since. And I kept meaning to put it back in the car, and I just never did. And at this point now, I'm, in a situation and I've dealing with a little bit of a failure, a little bit of a problem. And I can't drive the Z until I get the wheel off, because I'm not going to take it to a shop. I can't even drive it to a shop in the condition it's in. So I got to battle with that and get that thing off of there. But that's a story coming up this week. Anyway, that's the Z. Otherwise, the Z is doing fine. It runs great since we did all the repairs on it. We had electrical problems on there, you might remember, and it turned out we had a starter issue too. But it's running well. All right. Here's the Z. All right. And that square back, I can't get the owner to respond to me anymore on the title issue. What's funny, though, is she still talks to her friends, which are also my friends, and she keeps saying that she sent the title. But when she talks to me, she says she forgot to send the title, or she's going to send the title later. So anyway, the stories don't match. So something's going on. And I'm trying not to talk trash about her. She might be watching my videos. I don't need that. She's supposed to be a friend of mine. And as I said, friends don't do that kind of thing to each other. All right. This frame here, after one of our storms, ended up covered in tree sap. And that just pisses me off, because this stuff is so hard to clean off of here. But I'm going to have to deal with that, so that's something else coming up. Simple Green works pretty good. Just simply put it on a rag and wipe it on a little bit, wait, and then wipe it a little more. You can also use mayonnaise, peanut butter. I mean, there's other things you can use out there also. WD-40 works pretty good too. But once we get everything said and done with the Z, this sucker will be out on the road for a speed test. I'm still got to put the stock wheels back on. In fact, I lost one of the wheel nuts that holds the wheel on. I don't know what the hell I did with it. It was on that little table over there where I was working, and it's since disappeared. It might be on the ground, I don't know, I haven't looked, but I will look a little harder. But anyway, I'll switch those over. But none of that matters any, because I can't take this thing anywhere, because I have nothing to tow the trailer with until the Z is fixed. And the Z has to be moved tonight, because I got to get out the fastback. Fastback is stuck in the shed, and it's not doing me any good where it's at, because, well, I haven't left the house in a week, because I've been kind of trapped in here. And lastly, everybody wants to know about my 67 bus. And I've talked about it time and time again. But this bus, you might remember, back in 2020, late 2020, it got hit with a hurricane and it made a mess out of it. It threw components all over my yard. It started rusting some of my new metal. I was pretty brought down about that. And 2020 had a really bad year anyway. I lost Skeeter, I lost a lot of my family. Just so many things went on, and then, a hurricane messed up my yard and messed up my cars, and it didn't do any real damage to the house, but just made a mess of things. And that's the reason why I don't work in the yard so much. I don't have so much shade. And I'd like to work on this bus, but I just don't have the space to do it. And you see, I got a lot of components in there for it. There's also some fenders in there and other things for other projects coming up. And then there's some of the parts that I got from Decklid Don's house when I started disassembling the bus that he had over there, which he's still mad at me for. But that's Decklid Don. He's always mad about something. Anyway, I really don't feel comfortable working on this until I have more space. I want to take this thing apart and go a little deeper than I've been able to in this yard. And if this were a dry climate, like let's say, Nevada, or Arizona, or even Southern California, I just take it apart in the yard and just lay it all out and piece it back together. But here in Florida, where it rains every day, especially for the second half of the year, from now until something like probably February or so, it's going to rain. It's going to rain. It's going to rain. It's going to rain. And you never know when it's going to rain. I mean, it just rained on me minutes ago, but now the sun is shining and the sky is blue again. So, anyway, I'm not comfortable taking this thing apart, especially knowing how much these things are valued at anymore. This thing needs to be respected. It needs to come apart inside of a shop. I need to have shop space. And I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that I'll have shop space within the next year or two. And people keep telling me, build a garage or build a tent or, do this or do that. Spend more money on a bunch of shit that I really don't need, which takes me further away from my goal. Because if I spend money putting in another shop or garage or a lean-to or something, all that money comes away from all the investments that I have, which I'm currently down on because the market looks like shit, that aren't going to make me any money when it comes time to cash into them. You got to remember, when it comes to working like stock markets and things like that, it's a waiting game. Things usually go up, you just have to wait long enough. And that's the situation here. For those of you that don't understand that and are trying to force me into something and trying to make me do something, then clearly you're the guys that, you don't understand. But anyway, that's enough for the bus. And like I said, there's not going to be any progress or updates on this, at least for a little while. who knows what's going to happen. I mean, maybe I'll have some benefactor come along and say, hey, just use my garage, and I might just slip it in his garage. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm not in a hurry on this thing. I got so much else going on. I still have Eleanor in the garage, and I can't work on Eleanor until the other stuff in the garage or driveway is moved, because everything's blocked in, and I don't know. People don't understand the logic of that either. Why don't you work on Eleanor? Because I can't. I can't get her out of the garage. Too much going on. Way too much going on. I am spread really, really thin. I need to get this frame together too, but again, without a title on that square back, I'm not ready to start putting things together. So I want to put that square back on top of this frame. That makes no sense. I'm completely stuck until I have a title. And I'm getting really, really pissed off about it at this point. I mean, it's been since, when I look at that car, I think it might have been February. So, end of February, I'm not going to count that. March, April, May, June, and now we're pushing halfway through July. So 4.5 months later, I still don't have a title. Yet she got paid immediately when she requested it. So why don't I have a title? Anyway, enough of that. I'm doing a lot of woe is me stuff. Woe is me, Duckman. And I've always been somebody, you know, that I choose my destiny. I pick where I go. I do the things that I do because I love them. And anytime I get somebody else involved in my life is when something fails, has a problem, or is an issue. This is the reason why I don't have a job. Yeah, I can't work for anybody anymore. I mean, if I had to, I would, but I can't. Why? I didn't get married? Because I'm not going to listen to the horse shit from some yeah, just no. Why I didn't go to college, additional school? Because I can't handle it. I'm not a personality that's cut out for that. And I've discovered that. I'm somebody that can make it on my own, and I don't need to be a scholar or have somebody telling me that this is what I have to do or the way, you know, no. I'm successful because I'm me, because of who I am, and I'll toot my own horn. I mean, I'm not rich. No, I'm not rich. I mean, I'm doing pretty damn good for myself considering I don't have a college education, you know, and everything that I own. So how about that? Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Man, it's rained so much, it's like things growing in the yard. These are the trees growing these little things up out of here. I'm gonna have to come through here and mow them down. I notice they're starting to pop out of the yard everywhere, just green coming out of the yard from all that rain. These are the root system from this tree. And it even goes as far as over here. You see all these little things are starting to grow up. Amazing, just rained so much. All right, and the chickens, what the hell? I'm about to end the video, but Biddy's screaming. He wants to be included. Come on, Biddy, say hi. Say hi, Biddy. Look at you, you big stupid ding dong. Go ahead, attack the camera. Go ahead, come on, get him. There's Mama Bird. There's Frosty. Frosty, you can come out if you want. Go ahead. You didn't eat very good on your food today, no. You didn't eat very good on your food at all. You guys, so you want out too, huh, Fluffy? You want to come out for a minute? Go ahead, we'll let you out, and we're going to leave your brother in, because your brother's kind of a douche. Come on, Fluffy. Let's go. Good girl. Let me close the door back up. Here's your douchey brother trying to get out. And my girl, Cheeky. They like to dig a hole in the dirt. One day when I was working on the ground, I lost a nut, and I started digging around in the dirt, and I discovered the dirt is cool. I mean, significantly cooler than the air. So they dig a dirty hole, and they sit in it. And that's what keeps them cool. And I've seen dogs do that, too, but I didn't realize chickens did it also. It stinks over here right now, too, like rotten food and chicken shit. Well, that's it. There's my new engine. There we go. Yes, I ran it dry. In fact, I ran it dry right where she sits. So, like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to plug that dingle to get updates every time I upload a video. Check out DuckShit.net for all my different social media links. You can also find my wish list up there, which gives you some spoilers, some of the projects that are coming up. Right, Fluffadoodle? I see you. Come here. Come here, Fluffy. She's got a cape on now, too, because her brother started wrecking her feathers on her back. I bought them in a 4-pack. I figured I might need one for Cheeky, too, but Cheeky's my girl. Yeah, she's my mate, or at least that's what she believes. And some of the roosters are starting to realize that, too, because when they chase her or try to hump her, guess what happens? Daddy comes along and knocks them off of her. So she understands that I'm her protector, and she'll run to me if she needs to. Bye, Fluffy. Well, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. One more thing. Look at these peppers. They are incredible, and these things are so hot. I put 2 of them in a whole pot of spaghetti, and that spaghetti turned out to be beyond anything I could handle. They are just incredibly hot this year. And then this plant, has peppers all over it. This one is actually doing better as far as the making than this one is. Just took a little later of a date for it to get there, but it's growing like mad. Just like mad. I mean, this one probably has 100-something peppers on it. And this one's only got a couple, but it's growing all fresh stems. You see how green they are? All fresh stems. So it does have one pepper down there, which we're going to pull off right now. Look at that. This is what happens when they get dry. They crack. And that's what that line is you see on here. I don't have any problems with bugs eating them or anything like that. See the crack? That's what we're talking about there. We'll take that one too. That'd be good. I like to mince them up and put them on a steak when I cook steak. So, anyway. What's it doing, Biddy? What's it doing, huh? They made a mess out of their food. They really eat their food very well today. Anyway, that's it. Boop.